For decades, the world believed the most valuable resources were already fully discovered. But deep beneath one country, a hidden treasure still remained completely untouched. A treasure so powerful, modern technology simply could not exist without it today. And that treasure was quietly waiting inside the vast territory of Brazil. Most people had absolutely no idea what was buried deep beneath them, but scientists and investors were slowly noticing something unusual happening there. Small discoveries began appearing across remote regions long ignored by experts. At first, no one realized how incredibly valuable those minerals truly were, but then, global demand for advanced materials suddenly exploded around the world. Technology companies quickly realized they needed far more resources than before. Electric cars and smartphones depended heavily on rare materials every day. Without those materials, entire industries could suddenly stop operating worldwide. That realization triggered a massive global search for entirely new sources. Countries began racing to secure stable supplies of strategic minerals, and that intense race was about to reach South America very soon. Brazil was already widely known for its enormous natural wealth. Iron ore, gold, and oil powered its national economy for decades. But hidden among them was something far more strategic and valuable, a resource capable of shaping the future of global technology forever. And Brazil possessed far more of it than most people imagined. The discovery began quietly during routine geological surveys in distant regions. Teams carefully collected samples and later sent them to laboratories. What scientists found inside those samples truly surprised everyone involved. Those minerals turned out to be extremely rare across the world, and they were essential for modern technology used everywhere today. The news quickly reached financial markets across different countries. Investors immediately recognized the massive economic opportunity ahead. Mining companies rapidly moved into entirely new territories searching for deposits. Entire regions that were once quiet suddenly began transforming very quickly. New roads appeared where dense forests once stood untouched. Railways connected remote mines directly to distant coastal ports. Ports expanded quickly to handle increasing mineral exports every year. Ships carried Brazil's hidden treasure across the world every day. Global industries became increasingly dependent on those critical resources. What began quietly had now become a strategic global economic asset. Governments realized controlling minerals also meant controlling the future ahead. Communities near the mines started to grow rapidly across the surrounding regions. New workers arrived from distant regions looking for better opportunity and stability. Small towns quickly turned into busy industrial centers filled with new activity. Housing, schools, and hospitals had to be built almost overnight to meet demand. Local businesses began to flourish around the growing mining economy. Restaurants, shops, and services appeared along newly paved streets in town. Money started flowing through regions that were once quiet and isolated for years. Families experienced rising incomes and noticeably improved living standards. But rapid growth also placed pressure on local infrastructure and resources. Electricity demand increased significantly as factories expanded production capacity. Water systems had to support both large industry and growing residential areas. Governments faced difficult decisions about regulation, planning, and investment strategies. Environmental concerns slowly became part of the national conversation everywhere. Engineers searched for safer and more efficient mineral extraction methods. New technologies allowed deeper and much faster mining operations than before. Automated machines gradually began replacing manual labor in some areas. Productivity increased steadily as mining operations became more advanced. Export volumes reached record levels year after year without interruption. Global buyers signed long-term contracts to secure reliable mineral supply. International companies opened offices near major mining regions for coordination. Competition between powerful nations quietly intensified behind closed doors. Strategic partnerships were carefully formed to protect vital supply chains. Trade agreements started including new clauses about mineral exports worldwide. Prices for rare minerals continued to rise across global markets. Investors watched carefully as demand showed absolutely no sign of slowing. Analysts predicted that rare minerals would shape the next industrial era. Governments began stockpiling valuable resources as a strategic precaution. Supply disruptions in one country quickly caused concern around the world. Factories feared shortages that could suddenly halt production lines. Technology companies rushed to diversify their global network of suppliers. Brazil suddenly found itself in a powerful position of influence. Its vast mineral reserves became a major topic of global attention. Diplomatic meetings increasingly focused on long-term resource security issues. Economic forecasts highlighted Brazil's rapidly growing strategic global role. The world realized that these minerals were far more than commodities. They had become the foundation of the modern world's future economy. If you're enjoying this story, consider subscribing for more content ahead. The race was no longer just about digging minerals out of the ground anymore. It was now about understanding exactly how valuable those minerals really were globally. Processing them efficiently quickly became the next step in the battle for advantage. Trains began carrying Brazil's resources farther and faster than ever before. Ports turned into major gateways linking Brazil's mines to the rest of the planet. Factories on the other side of the world were already waiting for those materials. Renewable energy systems also depended on a steady and reliable supply of rare minerals. Brazil's national leaders began to understand the true scale of the opportunity ahead. Around the world, governments met to discuss supply, risk, and long-term dependency. Every shipment now mattered because even one disruption could affect entire industries. That is why secure storage quickly became part of the overall national strategy. At home, the mining boom was reshaping the country at surprising speed. Cities grew rapidly as new jobs and investment reached once forgotten regions. Families settled there because the future suddenly looked more stable and promising. Shops and services followed the money, and everyday life began to change quickly. Communities needed better healthcare as fast growth transformed the region. They also needed schools to prepare the next generation for a modern economy. New roads connected mines, towns, factories, and ports into a single coordinated system. Bridges and transport links made the entire national network stronger and faster. Even airports became part of the expanding chain of business and logistics operations. But the real long-term advantage would ultimately come from research and innovation. The more Brazil processed and exported, the more strategic its global role became. Financial centers around the world began to feel the impact of that new value. Investors were no longer watching from a distance, now they were fully committed. And in Brasilia, the decisions being made could shape the country for decades ahead. Across the oceans, Brazil's minerals were already feeding the engines of modern industry. Yet, beneath the surface, much of the hidden treasure was still untouched. Engineers kept pushing deeper, trying to measure the true scale of what remained below. Global leaders knew this was no longer just another mining story. It was now a story about who would power the next era of manufacturing worldwide. These minerals would help build the smart cities of the future. They would also connect supply chains across the entire modern world. Day and night, the new economic arteries kept moving forward without pause. Brazil was no longer just a country with natural resources. It was steadily becoming a powerful strategic force in global markets. The hidden treasure beneath its soil could influence the future of global technology, and for the first time, the world was finally beginning to understand what Brazil was truly sitting on.